right, everyone. So you saw a picture a while ago to start with of our barn door that separates our bedroom from the bathroom. Now, a barn door is good if it's on a barn, but in a home, it's really, in our opinion, it's useless. It's something like a novelty or some way to make it look better. It's a fashion fad inside of a home, I guess, right now. Well, we want to start doing freeze drying in our large bathroom in there / laundry room. So we're going to have to do that at nighttime. Sometimes it runs all night long. So in order for us to have a more of a audio seal on the door, we're going to replace the barn door with a standard door, and we're going to take y'all along.
And it's locked. This doesn't lock.
And this door, the barn door, does not lock, and it just like any barn door, it covers. And we kind of would like a lock on the bathroom, but also you can tell there's not much of a sound barrier that's coming in here. So we're going to go through here and we're going to take this off, and then we're going to be installing a different door on the inside that will open in, and we'll show you that here in a minute. Now on these barn doors, the way this one is set up, I've already taken off the outside cover, but essentially there's 2 stoppers on each side, and they set these stoppers so that you can position, say you don't want it to close a certain way, or you want it to close further. So what I'm going to do is got a little screw under here. I'm just going to take this loose, and I'm going to pull this out and pull it out, and that's kind of what it looks like. It's just a little stopper that goes in the slot. And then essentially you really just take the barn door and you slide it right off, so that it just simply slides right off. And there's the hinges, the wheels. It's got some little wheels on the top of it that attach and just rolls through this track right here. And basically that makes up the whole door. We're going to pull this over here. Now we're going to sell this barn door on Marketplace or something. So we're going to be sure to keep all our parts, because we priced them brand new in the store. They're about $400. So we're going to save this and sell it, hopefully on Marketplace, and maybe somebody else can utilize it. Now,
it'd be great for a pantry door.
It would be very good for a pantry. You can't see them, but the bolts are up here in the top. I can feel where they on the track up here. So I'm going to pause it just a minute, get my screw, and then we'll take that off. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking these out. There's a bunch of them up here. They meant for this thing not to fall for sure. Boy, that's a big one. When they build these modular homes in the factory, they use air tools to put them together, and sometimes, boy, they really get their hardware in there pretty stout. Be stubborn on me now. There's always one that's kind of stubborn on me. Dang, I knocked my hole in the wall. wear enough up on them, I don't guess.
I need to catch something.
And there it goes. Now you'll notice part of this, you can see here, we'll have to replace this trim, this door trim on the front and on the top. Because of course, in order for them to have the door set straight, they had to delete that trim there.
Might have some.
You might have some. This opening of this door is 30 7/8 by like 80 5/8. So what we're going to do, we're going to set the door where it opens this way. You push in, open this way. All our doors in our home they're kind of set that way. So we're going to have to take our hat rack down and be back ready. Okay, so what we discovered, you saw in the little clip, we got the door around there, and we discovered that it's about a 1/2 inch too short. And this opening is actually an odd size opening because that door was never meant to be taken off that barn door. So this is not a normal door jamb. Number one, you can see how thick it is. In a modular home, manufactured home, they have a joining line or a marrying line. And this is where that marrying line is, and that's why this is so thick, because that's where the two parts of the home come together. So what we're going to have to do, we're thinking, like this is a 1x4. We're thinking we're probably going to have to get a 1x10, and I don't have my tape measure here, but a 1x10 to, I may have to rip it a little bit and put a 1x10 right here, which should push the gap where this will become the backstop here.
Should fill in the gap.
It should fill in the gap, yep. Okay, so we've got our door, and I've measured all the rest of the doors in the home are 7 inches to the top of the hinge and 7 inches to the bottom of the hinge. So when you put this type of door hinge on, all you do is line up, let me show you. You line up this bar with the edge of your door. I've got my 7-inch mark, and I'm just gonna go and put 2 screws in it. Now this is not a solid door, so the weight factor is not a problem. I could have got a solid door, but they're about 150 bucks more expensive than a door like this. They call this a hollow door. It's not actually hollow. This is more solid than some of the cheap ones. This was not a cheap, I mean, it was not a dirt cheap door.
Mid-grade.
Mid-grade, yeah. I've got 7 inches marked here. So I'm going to put my hinge on. I'm going to do it the very same way. I'm about to go. Y'all about to let me go backwards. Got my mark. Okay, so there's my hinges attached. right, so we're at day number 2 of our door replacement. A couple of things that we've noticed. We got our door hung, you see that there, but on the frame, because it's a non-typical size, because it's a manufactured home, we're having to kind of change on the fly. We're going to have to add 1x10 on here, here, and we're going to try to get away with the 1x10 on this side. And the reason is the normal, this is wider than a normal door frame, because like I told you yesterday, this is a marrying point where the 2 frames come together. So I'll be taking this off, then taking this off, and then we're going to come back and put a 1x10 up right here. And we'll show you that here in just a second. All right, we're gonna give you a close-up shot and show you what we're talking about here. This is where this is the marrying line where the manufactured home comes together. So we're gonna take a 1x10 and put here. Now you'll notice the things you have to be always flexible to try to figure stuff out. Show right here. You'll notice that when the company put this one together, that they this offsets this somewhat, and what we're going to have to do is put shims here in order to match up to where the 1x10 will set flush and that the door will be able to close. It shouldn't be a problem on the top one or on the side. We may have to put one shim on this side, but one thing, if you're considering buying a manufactured home, listen, don't let the salesman tell you that it's of the very same caliber as a stick built house. I want to show you this wood. This is kind of prefab composite unwood. I don't know what you call it, but it's more of a prefab stuff. Now, I'm not saying the home is not nice, and we're certainly proud to live in it, but there are some differences. And when you're even changing out a door, or in some cases even like a light fixture or a power plug, you're going to have to be flexible, and that's what we're having to do here. So we're going to put some shims here, and we'll come back and show you that in a minute. All right, so what we're doing, we had to go to the hardware store and get a 1x12. So Jennifer's going up through on the back side of where it's going to line up, and she's marking where we're going to cut it. As opposed to just simply getting a top measurement and a bottom measurement and then popping a line, I thought it'd be just as easy for us to trace the line and to cut it. And you can see the line here. It's hard to see. Plus the wall, it's not exactly even. Can you see this line right here coming up? And that's because when they put the home together, the bottom is just slightly over than the top, or slightly less together than the top is. So it made you space different, if that makes sense. Well, as you can see, we got our casing on, and you can kind of tell. I'm gonna move this camera here, so y'all bear with me. We had to actually rebuild the whole casing, and because of the odd size, we're gonna have to replace this trim, and so we rebuilt it. Close that door. And we're lining it up so that when the door closes, everything looks good and tight. Once we paint it and caulk it, and then of course we're gonna go and we're gonna put a strip in here on the edge. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done, and we'll come back. It's been quite a job, because just having to kind of adapt, because you know everything's not square and stuff, but we've learned something for years. Paint and caulk covers a multitude of sins. Like love covers a multitude of sins, paint and caulk covers a multitude of unsquareness. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna cut off these shims. You can see how the shims are in, which gives us our spacing where it's tight enough. And shims are pretty common. I paid 35 cents a package for these. They were on sale at Lowe's. So what I'm gonna do now, ordinarily I'd use my Sawzall to cut these off, but I'm out of blades. So I'm gonna use my scroll saw, my handy dandy Skil scroll saw. It's not a Skil saw, but it's a scroll saw made by Skil, and comes in very handy. It's got multi-speeds on it. I'm gonna be careful not to cut into my wood edge here. So the trim, we're gonna repaint, be eventually painting this bathroom anyway, so you can see that gives us a nice flush. I got another up here I need to.
Don't get me, just get my hand.
Jennifer's putting some of the final touches. Finally painting this on. We didn't have any primer, so we got enough paint. Yeah, you can kind of see. Yeah, you hear our girls in there fussing. They just playing, they cooking cookies, I think. Yeah. All right, folks, we finally got finished with our door project now. To bring you back up to speed, we took a barn door down and replaced it with a standard house door. This is a manufactured home, so this is the marrying line where the two sections come together. The problem we ran into is that this door opening was about 30 1/8 inches wide. So that presented a problem. We either had to cut some sheetrock and cut some more wood back in order to have a 32-inch door, or we could put a 30-inch and build up the casing and build it around. And that's what we chose to do. We had to, you saw in the video, we had to remove all the wood on the inside. We came back with 1x10s, ripped them down to size, 1x10, ripped them down to size, and then put this little stripping in here to kind of seal it up. As you can see, the door, it went up very nicely. Jennifer was able to paint it, and we, you saw the pictures of the shims and everything. We can close it, we can lock, And if you remember, the whole reason that that we want to put this door in, we're going to put our freeze dryer in here. And that freeze dryer has to run sometimes a whole night long. So this being our bedroom, we can shut the door. Obviously the sound is not as bad. So we can open the door, shut the door, everything looks good. We got our door stopper on the back side here. If you want to show that. Door stopper at the back. And so I'd say for us not to be professional carpenters or whatnot, Jennifer and I did pretty well. This is a 30-inch door. We built the casing, and I think it's going to do just right. When you deal with a manufactured home, a lot of the sizes are different. So if you do change doors or even some light switches, power switches, be prepared to kind of shift on the fly. That's kind of what we had, because we had the idea that we was just going to really be able to put a door back up here and put some regular hinges on it and it'd be done. But it ran into some more trouble. So I hope this video helps you. Now again, don't be scared of projects. Try them. Find you some videos on YouTube. This is Donnie and Jennifer Prep for Eternity. Have a good day.